Hello, my name is Monique Musiel, and I'm the author of An Understanding Beyond, which can be found and read at Amazon digitally. I want to talk about this spring of 2026 with everything that's going on in the Middle East. There's a Bible quote that's very pertinent today. In Revelations 6, 5 to 6 is written, "When the Lamb opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, 'Come.' I looked, and there before me was a black horse. Its rider was holding a pair of scales in his hand. Then I heard what sounded like a voice among the four living creatures, saying, 2 pounds of wheat for a day's wages, and 6 pounds of barley for a day's wages, and do not damage the oil and the wine." So now when we talk about the Hormuz Strait that Iran put in place and started all this fighting, because they basically were blackmailing the entire world, because all the countries across the world are dependent on oil, which is sometimes now called black gold by some people, because it has such tremendous value and we all rely on it. So it makes no sense to me at all why Iran would plant landmines in that pathway if that was a way that they also made their income. England and the USA are working on getting those cleared out, and the USA has been taking control with President Trump at this point trying to financially ruin the terrorists because of their inability to sell oil. The problem is that is this going to continue to be a problem for the rest of the world also? You know, because after Iran basically blackmailed the whole world by blocking this crucial area of trade, and now that the USA has struck back and is basically beating them, I you know I wonder if will they realize that this was a really bad move to start doing that now that they're having to pay the consequences for this. The Hormuz Strait, as far as I'm concerned, it should be open to all. There shouldn't be anybody in control of it. It shouldn't be necessary. It should be obvious that this has to stay open for everyone. But I guess it's better that now the USA's there than that Iran's keeping everybody out, and that everybody's threatened about trying to go there because of the danger that they've created. It seems to me that those who control Iran, and especially the terrorist section of them, they are so obsessed with hate and control that they don't even care what happens to their own people. Because, I heard about a week or two ago, the leader stated We don't respond to threats. And in his false pride, doesn't he realize that Trump means it? He means he's warning them and giving them a chance to save their people and restore peace. Uh, since nuclear weapons would be abused by them. Uh, the Bible verse I stated earlier also talks about famine, and it talks about a day's wages for some food. Surely Iran's condition is going to be terrible if Trump continues to attack and destroy certain parts of their country. Sadly, Iran, the citizens are the ones that are going to suffer the most if that happens. If their leaders are literally hell-bent on more destruction by not budging. I mean, what assurance are they giving that they're not going to, if they have nuclear weapons, that they're not going to start sending them out all over the place? As it is, they're already sent missiles to all their surrounding countries that are just innocent bystanders that have nothing to do with any of this. You know what it boils down to? Besides the scenes that we are seeing here on Earth, this is actually a spiritual war. Satan is behind this hunger for destruction and anti-Semitism, that he wants to destroy Israel. There's a reason why he's trying to do that. It's because in his twisted mind, he thinks he can ruin God's plans. Because if he destroys Israel, then things are not going to go down the way that God's prophets, they already prophesied about this ages ago, and everything that God predicts through his prophets happens. 2/3 of the prophecies have already been fulfilled, and the only ones that haven't are the ones that are still ahead. So, doesn't he realize, he's thoroughly enjoying all this destruction, of course, but he can't come up against the might of God. Satan's an angel, a fallen angel. God is God. Angels are not equal to God in their power and might. This actually wouldn't be the first time that Iran's leaders have been under Satan's control. Iran was ancient Persia. In the Bible, in Daniel 10, after Daniel had a disturbing war vision in a dream, quoting Daniel 10:1 out of the Bible, he went into a 3-week period of mourning, fasting, and prayer. In response to Daniel's prayer, God sent a heavenly messenger to explain the vision. However, the messenger was delayed for those same 3 weeks, as he explains to Daniel. But the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me because I was detained there with the king of Persia. This angel was suggesting that the prince of Persia was a supernatural entity that had gained control over the kingdom of Persia. And only God's angels were powerful enough to fight with these fallen angels. The archangel Michael is a very mighty angel. He and his angels had fought Satan himself and Satan's angels that followed him, that were following him. And it was after that when God banished Satan from heaven. He was able to throw him out by force. So there was a war in heaven also. Always a power struggle, so in every way it seems like, until someday everything's going to be at peace under God in heaven. Revelation 12:7 through 12 tells about that. And war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought, but they did not prevail, nor was a place found for them in heaven any longer. So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Then I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ have come. For the accuser of our brethren, who accused them before our God day and night, has been cast out, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they did not love their lives to the death. Therefore rejoice. He's talking about the martyrs, obviously, the apostles that were almost all killed except for one. O heavens, you who dwell in them, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil has come down to you having great wrath, because he knows that he has a short time. Ever since then, Satan has made vengeance his ultimate goal. This explains why there's so much evil in this world, because he uses supernatural powers to wreak havoc. He whispers temptations into your mind, and some people fall for it. And he uses supernaturals and influences to wreak havoc wherever he can. And since he can't hurt God himself directly, he hurts us and his creation. This surely causes God great anguish, because God loves us so much that he even sent his son Jesus to suffer and die so we could be saved. Hopefully we're wise enough to accept that redemption. Something I don't think people really understand is that there are laws in heaven just like there are laws on this earth. And there are beings in heaven that witness and see what God does. God has to be perfect and just. That is why a price had to be paid to undo our unholy behaviors, called sins in the Bible and churches. But I actually think that's such an ugly and offensive word. It even has that sin sound, like a snake, or it cuts like a knife. I'll use words like wrongdoings, for example, instead of sin, because I hate using that word. Either way, it means thoughts and actions we shouldn't engage in. They'll get us in trouble. God gave us 10 commandments to guide us for a wholesome life. So, doing otherwise can really hurt us or other people. There are, mistakes that people make that are irreversible. These rules are like instructions for a product from a manufacturer. How to use a product properly and safely, because otherwise it could get damaged or even fail to work at all or function at all. So, are we going to be like little kids who won't listen to their parents, who are trying to protect them? Hopefully we don't go headlong into disaster because of our rebellious natures. We really ought to have more sense than to not listen to someone who is so infinitely wiser than us flawed human beings. My hope is that leaders and people will wise up and adhere to God as much as possible. With eternity, especially that, in heaven in mind for, for for a blissful existence finally that's going to be free from all evil. The judgment is going to be a division between. There's no room for evil in heaven. It's got to go. So with that in mind, of looking forward to making it to heaven, God bless you, and I hope to see you there someday. Again, my name is Monique Musiel, and I am the author of Understanding Beyond, which is, you can read the first chapter absolutely free, or if you're a member of Amazon, then you can read it totally free. So I hope that you will take advantage of some of the, I've done a lot of research on things. I look things up. I really dig, and I really want to expose some things to people that they might have never even heard of. So, good day to everyone, and till next time. Thank you.